Interesting and fun facts about being a lefty and a southpaw. Attention all southpaws, this one's for you. Are you a lefty? Do you know anyone that's left-handed? If you don't, you shouldn't feel too bad about it because only a small percentage of the population is left-handed. It's unclear what factors determine whether you'll be born left-handed or right-handed. However, researchers believe there is a link between the environment and genetics. Now, keep watching for interesting things you didn't know about lefties. Before we begin this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on all of our awesome life hacks, tips, and tricks from your #1 bestie. And make sure you tell your friends about our channel so they can join in on the fun. Number 17, where the word left came from. According to the site The Word Detective, the use of right as opposed to left came from the simple fact that most humans are right-handed. It was considered the proper or correct hand because it was generally the stronger and more dexterous, a word which comes from the Latin dexter, meaning both skillful and right, as in right-handed. This use of right as a relative direction arose in English in the early 13th century. Right went on to develop dozens of meanings in all of the senses: stronger hand, morally upright, individual rights, and was a smashing popular success. Left, on the other hand, has a bit of a hard time. The word left itself comes from the Old English roots meaning weak or foolish, and it wasn't known as the opposite of right until the 13th century. Interestingly, left replaced the Old English wenestra as the common term for the side of the body opposite to the right. Oddly enough, the old wenestra also meant friendlier, and the name is thought to have been a euphemism employed to avoid antagonizing the evil spirits that were thought to dwell on the left side of the body. Number 16, tennis. According to the Telegraph, some of the most famous tennis players in the world were lefties. In fact, 7 of the first 17 champions in the Open era were left-handed: Rod Laver, Jimmy Connors, and John McEnroe. In addition to that, and as recently as 1998, left-handers made up 3 of the top 4 men's seeds: Marcelo Rios, Peter Korda, and Greg Rusedski. And left-handers won the title in 2001, 2008, and 2010. Number 15, they have their own day. They have a day of their own to celebrate their left-handedness. August 13th is International Left-Handers Day. I'm not sure if anyone actually celebrates it, but hey, now you know. Maybe get your left-handed friend a gift and let them know you appreciate them and all of their left-handed glory. Do you know what percentage of the population is left-handed? Well, keep watching until the end to find out. Number 14, animals. Apparently, animals can also be left-pawed according to studies. For example, one study performed by researchers at Turkey's Ataturk University found that the majority of domestic cats are right-pawed, 50%. 10% are ambidextrous, and the remaining 40% are left-pawed. According to another study by the University of Manchester, dogs tend to be more evenly split, 50% being right-pawed and the other 50% being left-pawed. Number 13, astronaut facts. According to NASA, more than 20% of Apollo astronauts were left-handed. This is either a coincidence or NASA specifically selects left-handed people. That means that if you're a southpaw, maybe you should consider a career as an astronaut. They have a cool job and, as we understand it, it pays pretty well. Number 12, creativity. A study proposed by University College London psychologist Chris McManus suggests that left-handed people have a highly developed right hemisphere, which is associated with creativity and inventiveness. In fact, some research has found that lefties are better at divergent thinking, the ability to think of many solutions to a single problem, an indicator of creativity. Number 11, it may be hereditary. There is a hereditary and genetic aspect to being left-handed. The Daily Mail reports that Queen Mother, Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles, and Prince William were all left-handed, as if they needed another trait to distinguish themselves from us commoners. If you're a southpaw, you can tell people that you have something in common with the royals. Number 10. Criminals. According to an article published by The New Yorker, many of the world's most notorious criminals and killers are left-handed. Here are some examples: Osama bin Laden, the Boston Strangler, and Jack the Ripper. So now that we've told you to celebrate your left-handed friends, we are now telling you to be suspicious of them because apparently they have a murderous streak. Number 9. Twins. Studies state that twins are more likely to be lefties. According to a study conducted by Sweetie Uki, the prevalence of left-handedness is higher in twins compared to singletons for several hypothesized reasons, including intrauterine crowding, mirror imaging, and pre- and/or prenatal damage. Another study suggests that twin populations may include two types of left-handers, natural and pathological. Number 8. Mental health. According to a study conducted by researchers at the University of Belgrade, left-handedness has been linked to neurosis. The study concluded that from a public health point of view, left-handed men may be regarded as a relatively vulnerable population category concerning mental health. Number 7. Physical health. Left-handedness seems to also be associated with physical health issues according to studies. A research study published in 2007 by the British Journal of Cancer found that lefties have a higher risk of breast cancer than right-handed people. This is especially prevalent in cancer that occurs after menopause. While those two factors seem entirely unrelated, both could be a result of something affecting the fetus in its early development. Number 6. Intelligence. According to a study conducted by Giovanni Sala and Fernand Gobet, professor of decision-making and expertise at the University of Liverpool, left-handed people are good at math, architecture, and spatial awareness. All three of these things make an excellent architect. Number 5. Sports. Lefties are good at golf, boxing, baseball, and tennis, according to linguist Rick Smits. In his book, The Puzzle of Left-Handedness, he explains that athletes, left and right-handed, usually train against right-handed opponents. However, when facing a lefty, southpaws can easily adjust, but right-handed people are at a disadvantage. Number 4. Birth. Stanley Coren, an experimental psychologist at the University of British Columbia, found that women that give birth in their 40s have a 128% higher chance of giving birth to a left-handed baby. Why is that the case? Coren explains that the various stress factors are common among women over 40, and they could produce a left-handed child, including prolonged labor, breathing difficulty at birth, low birth weight, and the biological trauma of being a twin or triplet. Number 3. Arthritis and ulcers. It isn't all bad health-wise. In 2005, a study published in the journal Laterality found that being left-handed was linked to lower rates of arthritis and ulcers. Gina Grimshaw, PhD, director of the Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience Laboratory at Victoria University of Wellington, reveals that the most likely explanation to me is that both handedness and disease risk depends on genetics and the interaction of hundreds of genes. She also states that we've mostly given up on the idea that one or two genes explain any of these things, and they have some of those genes in common. Genetics are much more complicated than that, folks. Number 2. Sleep. If you are left-handed, a disruptive sleep disorder may influence your sleep differently. According to studies, A study by Donna Lita R. Hernandez, a professor of medicine at the University of Toledo Medical Center in Ohio, found that among people who have a sleep disorder that cause rhythmic movements in the night, the left-handed are more likely to move both sides of their body. Now that you know some pretty interesting fun facts about left-handed people, here are the percentage of the population that is left-handed. Number 1. According to an article published on MSN, only about 10% of the population is thought to be left-handed. So what causes someone to be left-handed or right-handed? A DNA quirk or an inherited trait? Scientists are still unsure about the answer. If you do happen to have a left-handed person in your life, cherish them. There are so few in this world. Interesting, right? Are you left-handed? Which fun facts from this video are true about you? What did you find the most interesting? Let us know in the comment section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit the like button and share with your friends. Also, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.